There's something inside every woman that ensures she's never fully satisfied. Not with her home, not with her man, not even with herself. She can have everything she once dreamed of: security, love, family, and still feel something's missing. A quiet restlessness she can't name, a whisper that says, there's more. There has to be more. Men see it and think, what did I do wrong? But this isn't about what you did. It's about something built deep into her, something ancient, emotional, invisible. Once you understand this, every argument, every cold silence, every sudden change in her eyes will finally make sense. Because it's not madness, it's a mechanism, and it's been running quietly inside every woman since the beginning of time. He wakes up early, gets ready quietly so she can sleep a little longer. He remembers her coffee, 2 sugars, a dash of milk, just the way she likes it. He leaves her a note on the counter. Hope today's better than yesterday. Love you. When she walks into the kitchen, she barely notices. She scrolls through her phone, sighs and says, you didn't take the trash out again. That night he suggests a dinner out, her favourite place. She says she's tired. He stays home with her, thinking maybe that's what she needs. Now she says he's always around. He thinks he's being caring. She says he's smothering. He gives her space. Now she says he's distant, so he tries harder. Flowers, compliments, effort. But somehow, every gesture lands flat. It's never enough, or it's the wrong kind of enough. Days turn into weeks of walking on eggshells, guessing what version of her he'll meet that morning. The warm, laughing woman he once knew feels like a memory fading into static, and he starts to wonder, when did love become a test he can't pass? When did everything right start to feel wrong? Because no matter what he does, the same silence returns, that quiet discontent in her eyes, like she's waiting for something that doesn't exist. He keeps telling himself it's just a phase. If he can figure out what's wrong, fix whatever it is, she'll smile again. So he tries, harder this time. You fix one problem, another appears. You say the right thing today, tomorrow it's the wrong tone. You solve one complaint, and somehow it creates 3 more. Every time you think you've found the key, the lock changes shape. He plans surprises. She says she hates being controlled. He asks what she wants. She says he should already know. He gives her space. She says he's growing cold. He gets closer. She says she can't breathe. There's no winning. Only endless adjustment. Endless guilt. He starts apologizing for things he didn't do. For feelings she never explained. For expectations she never voiced. He bends himself into versions that don't even feel like him anymore. Just trying to keep the peace. At night, when she finally falls asleep, he stares at the ceiling, wondering what he's doing wrong. How loving someone could make him feel this small, this uncertain, this invisible. You fix one problem, another appears. You try to make her happy, but happiness keeps moving. A target that shifts every time you get close. And the cruelest part, the world tells him it's his fault. Be more romantic, be stronger, be softer, be better. But no one tells him the truth, that he's stuck in a loop that can't be won, trying to heal something he didn't break. He's not lazy, he's not cold, he's just tired. Tired of trying to make an unhappy woman happy, tired of chasing peace in a place built for conflict, tired of loving someone who doesn't even seem to like him anymore. It's not him, it never was. What he's dealing with isn't a mood swing, a bad week, or even a personality, it's programming. Code written long before he ever entered her life. Inside, every person runs a set of invisible scripts, patterns passed down through generations, reinforced by childhood, shaped by culture. But in many women, that code contains a glitch, a deep, hidden loop that keeps rewriting reality as not enough. It's not that she chooses to be dissatisfied, it's that her mind has been conditioned to scan for what's missing. Even in comfort, she senses lack. Even in love, she detects danger. Her brain isn't looking for peace, it's looking for proof that something's wrong. Psychologists call it negative bias. Neuroscientists can literally see it in brain scans. A stronger reaction to problems than pleasures. It's not emotion, it's wiring. Like a smoke alarm that can't stop ringing even when the fire's been out for years. And that wiring often starts in childhood. A father who was distant or unreliable. A mother who was constantly dissatisfied. Those memories write the first lines of code. Men disappoint, love fades, happiness doesn't last. So even when she finds something good, the program doesn't believe it's real. It starts searching for flaws to prove the script true. You can give her security, affection, stability, and her mind will still whisper, something's off. Not because it is, but because her programming demands it. This is why logic fails, why reassurance never sticks. You can't argue with code. You can only recognize it for what it is, an ancient invisible mechanism quietly running the show. Once you see that, everything starts to make sense. Not because you fixed her, but because you finally understand the system that keeps her unhappy. It doesn't start with her. It started long before, with women who carried the same restlessness in their bones. Her grandmother complained about her husband working too much. Her mother complained that hers didn't work enough. Different men, different eras, same emotional script. 3 generations running the same invisible software, the code of chronic dissatisfaction. Science tells us that around half of our temperament, optimism or pessimism, calm or anxiety, is written in our DNA. Some brains are literally wired to notice what's missing. They don't seek joy, they scan for threat. It's a survival mechanism that once kept tribes alive, but in modern relationships it keeps love under siege. So, even in comfort, she senses danger. Even when adored, she suspects loss. Her biology whispers, it won't last. And the mind obeys. Then comes nurture, the world she was raised in. Maybe she watched her mother sigh at the dinner table, criticizing her father for everything and nothing. Maybe she grew up hearing that men can't be trusted, that happiness always comes with a cost. Maybe she saw her mother get attention through complaint, and learned that dissatisfaction equals power. Each observation carved a belief. Men disappoint. Love fades. Contentment is complacency. By adulthood, that programming runs deep. She's not choosing to repeat it. She's reenacting what's familiar. The emotional tone of her childhood becomes the soundtrack of her marriage. Even peace feels wrong because it's unfamiliar. Her nervous system only relaxes in chaos because chaos feels like home. This is how trauma passes quietly between generations, not through genetics alone, but through modelling, through the way women watch women suffer and call it normal. So she becomes her mother, who became her mother before her, each thinking she's escaping the pattern, while unknowingly continuing it. And the men who love them, they step into a movie already in progress, cast in the role of the disappointment, the same role every man before them unknowingly played. This isn't evil, it's inheritance. A psychological lineage, ancient, invisible, and heartbreakingly consistent. Once, her comparisons were local. The neighbour's house, her cousin's wedding, her friend's husband with the better job. Now, thanks to social media, she's comparing her entire life to millions of curated fantasies in real time. She's not comparing you to her ex. She's comparing you to an illusion, to men who don't exist, couples who aren't real, moments that were staged, filtered, and monetized. Every scroll is a microdose of inadequacy. Her brain floods with silent questions she doesn't even know she's asking. Why doesn't my husband do that? Why doesn't my house look like that? Why don't I feel that happy? And because the female brain evolved to seek emotional safety through social standing, this endless comparison triggers survival panic. In her mind, every other woman is doing better, more loved, more admired, more fulfilled. She's not seeing truth, she's seeing performance. But her emotions can't tell the difference. So real life, with its bills, chores, arguments, quiet nights, starts to feel wrong. Reality becomes too plain compared to the digital theatre of perfection. Her partner isn't failing. He's just competing with the algorithm. Every notification whispers, you deserve more. Every influencer smile says, you settled. And slowly, what once made her grateful now feels like a cage, The dinner he cooked used to mean effort. Now it's just not a rooftop dinner in Santorini. His job used to mean stability. Now it's just not entrepreneurial success with passive income. The tragedy is, she knows it's fake. She knows those people are posing, editing, lying. But knowing doesn't protect her. Her emotions don't respond to logic, they respond to imagery. And the algorithm is a master manipulator. It feeds her discontent like an addiction. The more she feels inadequate, the longer she scrolls, the deeper she sinks. Her unhappiness becomes data. Her doubt becomes profit. Ancient wiring, modern poison. A brain designed for survival, now hijacked by pixels. And in the war between reality and illusion, love rarely wins. It always starts the same way, with wanting. Wanting creates energy, excitement, fantasy. She dreams, she idealizes, she reaches. And when she finally gets what she wanted, the job, the home, the man, a quiet decay begins. The dopamine fades, the novelty wears off. And suddenly, the very thing that once thrilled her now feels ordinary. The promotion that made her feel powerful becomes too stressful. The house that once felt like achievement now feels too small. The man who once felt like destiny now feels too predictable. This isn't greed, it's a loop, a psychological pattern of devaluation. Her mind treats fulfillment like a mirage. The closer she gets, the faster it disappears. She doesn't realize she's not chasing happiness. She's chasing the high that comes from anticipation. And when the anticipation ends, so does the joy. Is why her compliments come less often. Why small irritations grow into big complaints. Why she used to love his stability but now calls it boredom. In her eyes, his effort becomes invisible because it's familiar, and what's familiar no longer feels valuable. So she begins to scan, not always consciously, for something new to ignite that spark again. A new hobby, a new look, a new distraction, a new man. The cycle continues because the problem isn't what she has, it's how her mind processes having. The moment something becomes hers, it loses its shine. Desire is replaced by disappointment, gratitude by critique. And no matter how much she collects, love, comfort, luxury, there's always a sense of something missing. This is the quiet curse of constant pursuit. Everything she touches eventually fades in meaning. Not because it changed, but because she did. She says it's your fault, that you've changed, that you don't listen anymore. But deep down, it's not about you at all. It's about what she refuses to face inside herself. When a woman feels a void she can't name, her mind looks for somewhere to send it. It's easier to point outward than look inward, so the frustration becomes your tone. The sadness becomes your neglect. The restlessness becomes your failure to excite her. She's not lying. She feels those emotions deeply, but the source isn't external. It's internal disconnection, the growing gap between who she is and who she thinks she should be. That's the projection loop, a defense mechanism dressed as accusation. Every time she says, "You don't make me happy," what she really means is, "I don't know how to be happy anymore." It's the same story in countless relationships. She mistakes her own unease for your mistake. She turns inner emptiness into outer conflict. And the harder you try to fix it, the more it confirms her belief that something must be wrong. This is how good men get trapped in emotional quicksand, apologizing for storms they didn't create, defending themselves against wounds they didn't cause. But projection feels real to her. It feels justified. Because the alternative, admitting the problem comes from within, is terrifying. So she keeps searching for someone or something to blame, and in doing so ensures she'll never find peace. Because you can't fix internal pain by rearranging the outside world. From the moment she's old enough to understand words, the message starts playing. You're special. You're powerful. You deserve it all. Cartoons call her a princess. Magazines call her a queen. Social media calls her a goddess. And the world keeps repeating the same seductive lie. You deserve everything. Love, wealth, admiration, simply for existing. But no one ever tells her the second half of that sentence. that deserving something doesn't mean you'll keep it, that admiration must be earned, that gratitude sustains what entitlement destroys. This is the cultural virus, the queen myth, a belief system so intoxicating that millions of women wear it proudly without realizing its poison. It tells her she's the prize, that men must worship her, that effort should always flow toward her. And when reality doesn't match the fantasy, when life demands humility, compromise, or patience, it feels like betrayal. She's been programmed to see every unmet desire as injustice, every disagreement as disrespect, every ordinary man as not enough. The problem isn't that she's been told she's valuable, it's that she's been told she's infallible, and so gratitude dies, empathy fades. Because how can you be thankful when you believe you're owed everything? How can you appreciate love when you think it's a right, not a gift? The queen myth doesn't create confidence, it creates discontent. It convinces her that normal happiness is mediocrity, that balance is boring, that partnership means submission. You see it everywhere, an influencer culture, dating advice, self-help slogans shouting, "Know your worth." But worth has become currency with no backing, a slogan without self-awareness, a crown with no weight. And when a generation grows up believing they're owed devotion without contribution, they don't become queens. They become tyrants of their own unhappiness, ruling over empty kingdoms built on entitlement instead of love. Therapy was supposed to help her heal. Instead, it gave her new vocabulary, not new peace. Now every disagreement is emotional invalidation. Every boundary you set is controlling behavior. Every moment she feels discomfort becomes trauma. She's not healing. She's rebranding her unhappiness in more sophisticated language. What was once a conversation becomes a diagnosis. What was once accountability becomes blame disguised as self-work. Modern healing culture told her to feel everything, but never taught her how to process anything. So she journals, meditates, posts about toxic energy, yet still feels the same ache, the same emptiness. Because introspection without responsibility isn't healing, it's self-obsession. And victimhood, once rewarded with sympathy and validation, becomes identity. Now, unhappiness isn't a problem to solve. It's a badge to display. She finds comfort in the language of pain because it gives her meaning. It explains why she's never satisfied, and why none of it is her fault. But here's the quiet tragedy. The more she analyzes, the less she accepts. The more she talks about boundaries, the lonelier she becomes. Because relationships aren't therapy sessions. They're messy, imperfect exchanges that demand grace, not diagnosis. And while she chases perfect emotional alignment, real connection slips away. Healing was supposed to bring her freedom. Instead, it trapped her in an echo chamber, where every feeling is sacred, every flaw is someone else's fault, and happiness stays forever out of reach. He used to stand tall, confident, certain, full of quiet purpose. Now he second-guesses every word before he speaks. He used to lead with strength. Now he apologizes for existing. At first he tried to fix things. Thoughtful texts, surprise dinners, long talks at midnight. He thought love meant effort. But somewhere along the way, effort became offense. Every attempt to make her happy only proved in her eyes that he was the problem. So he learned to shrink, not out of weakness, but exhaustion. He stopped speaking up because silence hurt less than misunderstanding. He started walking on emotional glass, terrified that honesty would shatter what little peace was left. And slowly, something inside him began to fade. Not anger, not resentment, just hope. Hope that love could be simple again. Hope that he could be enough. He watches her scroll, compare and complain, while he becomes invisible in the home he built. He starts to forget what it felt like to be admired, respected, wanted. This is the quiet fallout no one talks about. The emotional erosion of men who tried too hard to love in a world that no longer values devotion. And in that silence, he realizes something painful. You can't fix someone who's addicted to dissatisfaction. You can only watch them drift. and hope you still recognize yourself when they're gone. You can't fix what was never yours to fix. You can't heal wounds you didn't cause, or fill a void that was carved long before you arrived. Her unhappiness isn't your failure. It's not about your effort, your love, or your patience. It's the echo of something deeper, an internal script written by years of comparison, conditioning, and quiet confusion. You could give her the world, and she'd still feel like something's missing, because the emptiness doesn't live outside her, it lives within. And no amount of devotion can rewrite a code that tells her she's never enough, that life should always feel more, that contentment means complacency. You can't compete with a shadow. You can't win against a mirror that reflects only what she wants to see. The truth is simple, but hard to accept. You're not the cure for her chaos. You're not the missing piece she's searching for. You were only ever a temporary pause in her endless chase for satisfaction. And once you understand that, you stop trying to fix her and start reclaiming yourself. Until she turns inward, nothing will change. Not her love, not her peace, not her smile. You can rebuild the house, rewrite the rules, reframe every argument, but it won't matter. Because the storm isn't out there. It's inside her. And until she faces it, she'll keep moving, keep searching, keep breaking what she touches. You'll see her try to outrun it. New hobbies, new people, new versions of herself. She'll say she's finding her truth, but all she's doing is running from her reflection. Every new start will end the same way. Silence, restlessness, and the same hollow stare into the distance. And you'll stand there, watching, waiting, hoping that maybe this time she'll come back different. But she won't, because nothing changes until she looks inward. That's the final truth, the one no one wants to hear. You can't love someone into self-awareness. You can't save someone who's addicted to dissatisfaction. And if you try, you'll drown right beside her. So don't. Step back. Let her face her own reflection. Because only when she stops searching for happiness outside herself will peace finally stop running from her.